Let's explore even more autistic history and the Autism Wars. This is part 123 of the series. All right, we're still back in 1965, and I'm sharing the article that was published in Life magazine back then about Ivar Lovaas's works titled Screams, Slaps, and Love. And this is available online if you want to do a search for it. There's a PDF of the magazine article available. I will show you some photos from that in just a moment. Gonna finish up here where we left off. We left in the last video of little Billy raging around like an animal, attacking pictures of Alfred Hitchcock with a long stick. Alright, so picking back up from there, by now Billy was getting so big and strong that Pat could hardly control him physically, and she and her husband were thinking of building a fence around their house to keep from endangering others. But before doing so, they took him to one more psychiatrist. "You can't build a fence high enough," the psychiatrist said. "He'll be a Frankenstein monster. Put him away." Miserable though they were, Pat and her husband couldn't stand the thought of abandoning the boy to an institution. "We were supposed to put him away and throw away the home movies and tear up the scrapbook," she said, "and we just couldn't do it." A few weeks later, a psychiatrist connected with the retarded children's school told Pat that her husband, Billy, might not be retarded, but autistic. He suggested that they take him to the Neuropsychiatric Institute at UCLA, where Dr. Lovaas and his colleague, Dr. James Simmons, a psychiatrist, were choosing autistic children for a new experimental program. Pat and her husband were enthusiastic, even though they knew about the punishment that Billy would be subjected to. Their one fear was that Billy, erratic child that he was, would flunk his audition in front of Lovaas. But they knew that one of the criteria was that children accepted must like to eat and must be willing to expend a lot of energy to obtain food. So Pat and her husband talked things over, and they had an idea. When they took Billy to see Dr. Lovaas, they made a stop on the way at the drive-in. Billy, given the hamburgers during the interview, passed the entrance exam with flying colors. So there's some photos in here I'm going to share with you, but again, there is a content warning. These are really difficult to look at. These are the professionals screaming, yelling at the children, and the expressions of the children, and electric shock for some of them coming up through the floor. So cut out now if you need to, no problems, right? Okay, take care of you. So this right here is one of the photos from the article. Yeah. So, says a set between these two shown on the preceding page. Researcher Bernard Rimland, a patient named Billy, began when Billy did not pay attention during his speech lesson. It ends above with Billy in tears, like a fragile Buddha, Chuck endlessly contemplating nothing while mutely rocking back and forth. So, and there's none of these. I mean, look, it's like, oh, that one, yeah. Several times a day, for the slightest of reasons, Billy flings himself into a screaming 10-minute tantrum. So they're speaking about that. In a paroxysm of anxiety, Ricky is crying at Jags to punish himself for a mistake in putting together a puzzle. See that floor? See her feet? See, that's what it looks like when you're getting shocked through the floor, right? Poor baby. Screams, slaps, and love. There's the love part, guys. There's the love. Apparently, mom is happy. They're happy. Here's another photo. The taming and teaching of Billy takes place in the corridors and rooms of the UCA Neuropsychiatric Institute, where the children live during the experiment. Above, Billy is being taught to play and is about to get a spoonful of sherbet for a pulling check in a wagon. Outright, in a speech session, the researcher holds a bit of food between her fingers to urge a right answer. Below, a game is made out of imitating adults, a normal response that autistics lack, but which is all important in teaching them. There. At peace, Billy waits his next lesson. If things continue to go well, he will leave the project, return home, and attend a special school plus the institute part-time. So, these are the children Bernard Rimland referred to, and the study he referred to, and the tactics that he was referring to that he took home and then did at home with his autistic child. It just amazes me what they think is appropriate. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to wrap this up here, and we will jump forward in autistic history and start speaking about legislation here very soon. They are pushing for legislation to get the treatments that they want funded, to get the treatments that they want covered by insurance, to get the research, to get the attention, to get the power, to get the money. So, yep, that's pretty much autistic history, isn't it? Charlatan, snake oil, and people wanting money. And somewhere in that mix are us autistic children in our families. All right.